Hey, everybody. Welcome to another side quest.
Welcome. Are we still at the RNG ranch?
Yes.
I imagine that it's a ranch.
I mean, it would have to be.
Home on the
wouldn't it?
RNG, that's got to be a ranch. So.
Today I wanted to do a little something. Russ and Chris don't fully know how this is going to go because I didn't want them to be able to put too much thought into it ahead of time.
Oh. Do I ever put that much thought into anything that we do ahead of time?
I was going to say
True. Russ is very much a by the seat of his pants contributor. But the idea for this one, I want to go through the first 9 games because it doesn't make sense to go past 9.
Like the first 9 video games that ever existed.
Of Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy.
Okay. I thought he was going to say Ultimate Muscle.
It's going to be a quick... It's not going to be a super in-depth discussion, but it's going to be discussing our personal preferences because one has to go.
One Final Fantasy or one Dragon Quest? One of each?
Exactly. So first, we will talk about Final Fantasy 1 versus Dragon Quest 1. One of them disappears forever.
Oh, I see.
Which one do you keep?
I mean, really, if Dragon Quest 1 disappeared forever, there wouldn't be any of the other ones.
Now,
yeah.
we're not playing that because that does ruin the whole... So the idea is it disappears from this moment onward. Nobody can ever play... If you pick Final Fantasy 1, nobody can play Dragon Quest 1 ever again from now on. It's gone.
I get what he's getting at.
We're not going for cultural significance. We're going for personal preference.
So I get where he's going at. This is going to require a little bit of context to the listener. So Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest are very far apart in the timeline in terms of like which game of which number released, except 6. Final Fantasy 6 and Dragon Quest 6 are very close.
Oh, that's so true.
In terms of release. Final Fantasy 5 and Dragon Quest 5 a little closer, but Dragon Quest 5 is like one of the first like Super Famicom games. And, there was 2, Final Fantasy 5 is the second Final Fantasy on the Super Famicom. So, yeah, Dragon Quest was, like, way ahead of Final Fantasy. It's like, if Dragon Quest is cornflakes, Final Fantasy is chocolate frosted flakes. Like, makes no sense unless you understand the context of the first. Yeah, so if you don't know what a cornflake is, you're not going to know what a chocolate frosted flake is.
But for this discussion, because they are 2 of the biggest JRPG series that exists.
Yeah.
So I thought it might be fun just to talk about our personal preference by numbered
played,
entry.
Yeah, the 9. Yeah.
For the first 9. And again, like I said, there's no point in doing 10 because unless we're being a troll and being funny, nobody at this table is going to be like, well, I'm going to keep Dragon Quest 10. Well, it's an MMO that none of us have played because it's not in English. Well, I'm going to keep Final Fantasy 11. Well, yeah, because Final Fantasy 11 was an MMO.
And yeah, once you get to 12 and above, it does start to fall apart a little bit.
It does.
So once
9 we get
games,
12 with all of its mature themes and dark setting, we will be able to include that one.
So Russ, Final Fantasy 1 or Dragon Quest 1, which one do you keep?
Final Fantasy 1.
Why?
Because everything about it is better. Dragon Quest 1 was just like, let's see if a Dungeons and Dragons video game will sell in Japan.
Let's see if a JRPG with a menu will do anything.
Yeah, just like the most watered down that you could possibly imagine.
Actually, I think let's do it this way. Let's each announce our pick and then have the discussion because I think we're going to agree on several points. Because I also picked Final Fantasy 1 to stay.
Yeah.
Chris?
I mean, I do have to pick Final Fantasy 1 on this one just because the NES version is my 3rd favorite Final Fantasy, so...
I feel like Dragon Quest 1 feels very much like a proof of concept more than a fully fleshed out world and game.
And I will concede that. However, I will say that also Dragon Quest 1 is a better game. It was better designed, better written, better programmed, especially in the context of its own release.
I love the story.
Final Fantasy 1 is a contemporary of Dragon Quest 3.
Sure.
See, that's where it kind of falls apart at the beginning because Dragon Quest has such a head start.
But I feel like Final Fantasy 1 has a much richer story and world. I even like the bonkers mixture of sci-fi and fantasy that is seated in the game right from the very beginning. This weird time loop that comes out of nowhere. Like they crammed a whole bunch of really cool ideas into this one game.
But I mean, I will say also, though, that their method of storytelling is very similar at this point in that you don't have characters talking to each other. You have yourself experiencing the dialogue of characters you interact with telling the story for you.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, Garenham has a story. You aren't involved in the story. You're just there to get a harp.
Yeah.
In original Dragon Quest.
I just like the mouthfeel of Final Fantasy 1 on the NES.
Sure.
Which I think I've said at some point before.
Versus Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior?
I mean, Dragon Warrior, because I don't have that Japanese version of Dragon Quest where the characters didn't even like move around.
Right.
I have no
just moved around like a chess piece essentially.
Concept of.
So Final Fantasy 2 or Dragon Quest 2? Which one do you keep, Russ?
We're still going Final Fantasy 2.
Chris?
I really love Final Fantasy 2.
I'm also keeping Final Fantasy 2. I don't know that that's the choice I would have made before the Pixel remaster, but it did give me a new appreciation for 2.
I did beat the Famicom version first, and I would still say that Final Fantasy 2 is like a really, really incredible experience. Dragon Quest 2 is also really, really great.
It is really great. That's kind of a hard.
These are going to get harder.
They're going to get really hard, but this is already one that's like I am excited about the HD 2D remaster of 2. Even more than I was for 3.
Yeah, the thing about 2 is that like it's 2 games. It's like there's one game where you gather the Prince of Canuck and the Princess of Moonbrook and go on some adventures and stuff. The second game is when you get to the final area and have to go fight Hargon.
Yeah.
That's the second 30-hour RPG that's attached to that one.
But again, I feel like the Final Fantasy 2 has a better story. I like it experimenting with level progression and all of that. The character depths add depth to the story. The story is a banger. That is just a fantastic story. I mean, the Emperor dies, conquers hell, and comes back to bring hell on Earth. That's metal as all get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy.
I'll put an asterisk on mine and just say Final Fantasy 2 from Game Boy Advance onward.
Okay.
Because I did try to play the first one and I didn't like the mouthfeel like I did Final Fantasy 1. So
fair enough.
Got a 2 in there, and that's
whereas I would go back and play
now
Dragon Quest / Warrior 2.
If it was it's good. I almost never make it to that second Dragon Quest when they do the pair of them in one cart. We'll see if I do it in the Pixel remaster.
So, Dragon Quest 3 or Final Fantasy 3?
So this one this one is the first one where they're actually somewhat similar. I'm gonna give it to Dragon Quest 3 on this one.
Yeah, it's Dragon Quest 3.
Me too. I did not expect us to keep agreeing all the way. I wonder how long that'll continue. It is the best of... For me, the Dragon Quest series kind of breaks itself down into trilogies. Like, the first 3 have a similar feel. The next 3 have a similar feel. 9
breaks everything.
Yeah.
It really does. But then 10 also breaks everything.
Yeah, but I think that 3 is the best of the first 3 Dragon Quests. And I think Final Fantasy 3 is the weaker.
Well, clearly, because they keep mentioning it over and over again. They keep finding new ways that the new Dragon Quests are related to 3.
Yeah. 3 is the well they keep coming back to, that's for sure. That is the buffet.
I have to give it to 3 because Final Fantasy 3, even though it does introduce the job system as we would come to know it in Final Fantasy games, it's not...
Which is funny because Dragon Quest 3 also introduces their job system.
3, I don't like how you kind of are supposed to use specific classes for specific dungeons, and
there's much less freedom.
Yeah, you're supposed to go through that early water shrine or whatever as 3 black mages and a white mage or something. So it just something that just rubs you the wrong way. And then if we're talking about the original, it has that capacity system where you can only change your job classes so much. So it just
And 3 has been Dragon Quest 3 has been re-released so many times. It kind of each Well, in Japan, each console generation, gets a new Dragon Quest 3.
Yeah.
We've gotten one every, 10 or 15 years, but every time it's just they're adding something new and cool to it. Mm-hmm. Final Fantasy 3, we just got the one time, and it was in the Final Fantasy 4 engine on the DS, which I was like, it doesn't really do anything for 3, does it?
No.
Speaking of Final Fantasy 4 or Dragon Quest 4, I'm picking Final Fantasy 4. Russ?
Dragon Quest 4. We're going to be different on this one.
Yeah. Also
Chris?
Dragon Quest 4.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 4 is one of my all-time favorite games. It will always be in my top 5. I love those people. I love that world. I love that game. I could not pick otherwise.
The thing about Final Fantasy 4 is that I don't think that it was always the most a really interesting story, the most interesting in the series up to that point. It had dialogue between characters, which is very which is a novelty, but the kind of the SNES version we got, exceedingly easy game, very rough translation.
Yeah.
And then we got a version for, we got the PlayStation 4 version, which it's actually pretty good, except for the sound effects are terrible. It sounds like they recorded the original game in a bathroom and then played it back to get the sound effects for some reason. And we got the Game Boy Advance version, which I feel kind of wrecked the story with the additional content. We got the DS version that's just impossible to play, but does feature Anna version of Edward, which is very good.
That DS version was something I was so excited about and then so disappointed with.
And the Pixel Remaster version is also too easy unless you really crank it up.
It is really,
it
is
so
really
easy. And the original Japanese version, I played it 2 different versions of that now, and both times it was harder, but also with all the thousands of items in there and only that many slots to hold them, I was like, well, this doesn't really work then, does it? I can't really hold on to items I want. And so I feel like Final Fantasy IV was never perfected. It just never has been. Whereas Dragon Quest IV, as soon as it came out, was perfectly what it is. If you remake it, you're just going to make the same game but prettier.
Yeah.
It was really well written. They even attempted to localize actual jokes from the Japanese version, which is pretty good. Don't litter the litter.
I remember that.
The story follows multiple protagonists until the second half of the game, which is with the main protagonist. It has friggin' Tornico in it, which is one of the coolest flips in flipping the script in JRPGs. I really personally like Alina a lot.
You technically don't have to fight a battle.
Yeah, exactly.
In his story.
Yeah, you're doing so many cool things. The final boss, holy jeez.
I know. Yeah.
A 7-phase final boss.
I love that final boss.
Open world exploration. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Final Fantasy IV has amazing story beats that it goes into. There's so many cool things that happen in FF4. It's just, as a game, I think Dragon Quest IV is tops.
Russ?
Yeah, I feel the way kind of about the characters of Dragon Quest IV like you do Final Fantasy IV. I mean, I love the Final Fantasy IV characters too, but by having those first 4 chapters where you play as all the other party members first, I really I felt so close to those characters. I always loved Mara and Nara / Mina and Maya.
Yeah.
They were always my favorite.
I wanted to shout them out, but I forgot which version they are named what. But that's,
Mina and Maya. In the modern.
I love them. I love Ragnar, especially because of Healy.
Oh, I love Healy. Healy is so good.
So good.
Yeah.
I could never not pick Final Fantasy IV. But this one was the hardest one for me.
It's hard. Yeah.
No. I mean,
the hardest one.
The hardest one for me, Final Fantasy V, Dragon Quest V.
Oh. Yeah. I'm kind of like you. This is where I can't go against Final Fantasy V.
I never thought you could.
But so hard.
Chris?
So hard to say that.
I gotta give it to Dragon Quest V.
I also have to give it to Dragon Quest V. I love the job system in Final Fantasy V. I love Final Fantasy V a lot. But
mechanically, it's so cool.
I feel like Dragon Quest V is the peak of Dragon Quest in the PlayStation era, right?
So it's better than 6. That's all that you're saying.
It's better than 4. It's better than 6. It's better than 1 through 3. I feel like it's kind of like the golden template of Dragon Quest V. I feel like it's the one with the most nostalgic power, even though I didn't play it as a kid growing up.
I was gonna say
playing it as
five and Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest V are both lacking a nostalgia factor for all of us because we didn't get to play them initially.
But when I played it as an adult, it felt like something I played and loved as a kid.
Yeah.
You know what? It's crazy that it's only like 5 years between SNES, Final Fantasy V, and PlayStation. So we only really were like missing that game.
We needed to hit it before 6.
Well, yeah, definitely. But it's just odd where it feels like, because I think Nintendo Power or something had covered it, thinking that it was going to be localized here, and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
And so like I knew about it, and then we got 6 instead, and so, anyway, it feels like a long time before I got to play that game, but it was really just like 5 years.
But I know how much you love 5.
I do love 5.
You play it constantly.
I do play it constantly. It's kind of like you and 6, just doing all the different challenges with it, and I play through it constantly. I try out I do like the 4-job, limit myself to 4 jobs, and figure out different strategies on how to tackle everything, and I love it so much. But I love Dragon Quest V too.
Yeah,
it's a hard one, right?
Comes down to like, I have to say 5 because I've probably played 5 like 3
times. You had to say 5 instead of 5.
Yeah, I had to say Final Fantasy V. Yes.
Now, funny enough, the opposite of Dragon Quest IV, I could make more arguments for 5 than I could of Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy V than the Dragon Quest V, because I feel like Final Fantasy V is very fully realized in what it is. And I love that it's a story about friendship. It's like, it's the same, well, until a certain plot happens, it's the same 4 characters, and then one gets replaced. But, and the bad guy is just like Final Fantasy II. He's just a bad guy that's there to be bad.
He's a tree.
He does what trees do. They're not that deep.
Yeah. No. And his name's X. I mean, if your name is X Death, what do you think
exactly
is going to happen?
But in Dragon Quest V, it's like, it's a little burdened by being an early SNES game, so it just looks like a fancy NES game.
Mm-hmm.
It's, a problem they had that they fixed later is the three members of the party.
Yes, yeah.
When you get to collect so many other monsters, but then it just ends up being the 3 characters that you're supposed to use.
Yeah.
But
and there's no place for your wife.
Yeah.
When it's only 3 characters.
Exactly. But
she just has to sit in the wagon.
Yeah. But I love that you can choose. Like who you want to marry.
I really enjoyed playing that DS version and marrying Deborah.
I didn't marry Deborah yet. She's the only one I haven't married. I've married Bianca and Alina, but not Alina.
Nera or Flora.
Nera in my version.
Yeah.
I haven't married Deborah yet, but I was overjoyed that she became an option.
Yeah, it was great. I loved watching her soften over time.
I figured she would.
Like, you definitely marry her because she's hot, and then she
I feel like her, like, what she brings to the party, or what she brings to the table is like a kind of bossiness, kind of, she's a bit of a mommy.
She definitely orders you around at first, and then over time she really comes to love you.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I'm gonna do that on my second playthrough. But yeah, the DS version is what I think of when I think of the ultimate like Dragon Quest V experience for an American.
Yeah.
I'm sure the PS2 version is like the best one or something, but yeah, with 5 it's like, I think mechanically they've never had to change anything about that game to re-release it because it was perfect out of the gate. And
recruiting the monsters is so good because the Dragon Quest monsters are so iconic.
It literally spawned one of the biggest video game franchises of all time. It's the direct inspiration for Pokemon.
Yeah.
All right, so Dragon Quest 6 or Final Fantasy 6. I feel like we might all be on the same page with this one.
I'm sorry, Dragon Quest 6.
I'm going Final Fantasy 6.
You can't not.
Yeah. I beat Dragon Quest 6. I did love it. I didn't love that the fan translations are all incomplete. Mm-hmm. I haven't yet played the DS version. I honestly, if I was to compare it to Chrono Trigger, it'd be a little closer because it's the game they were making at the same time as Chrono Trigger. In fact, Chrono Trigger is the reason why Dragon Quest VI didn't have as many things as it could have, because Yuji Horii was working on both games. So yeah, it's like, but Final Fantasy VI, such a masterpiece, just amazing.
Yeah.
You can go and listen to us talk about it for like an hour and a half. We have that episode out.
Yeah, but shout outs to Dragon Quest VI for being just a very cool game that I really wish we would have properly gotten, even more than 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dragon Quest VI, we haven't reviewed it yet, but I stopped playing it. It wasn't clicking for me. It wasn't engaging for me.
And there's a class system, but you don't even change outfits.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
And that is knocks points off people.
Final Fantasy VII or Dragon Quest VII? Russ?
I want to go last.
I wanted to go last. That's fine. Chris?
Well, mine's a hot take. Dragon Quest VII.
That is also my pick.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, I am leaning towards that too. I like Final Fantasy VII. I was never on that like
hype train
for that one.
Me
it
either.
was 8 that I got on the hype train for.
I really like Dragon Quest VII a lot. It's not even a matter of me picking it because I'm a little on Final Fantasy VII. I love the way that Dragon Quest VII is set up story-wise, the story beat. It's like playing a TV show.
It is,
right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This episode, we're going to go and save this village from a horror in its ancient past. This episode, what new ancient horror is in this new land?
Yeah.
And that's the template that they still use. Like, that's, they kind of started it there. Because Dragon Quest V has a story that kind of moves around in different places at different times. And 6 has the flipping world and stuff like that. So it's kind of not really episodic feeling. Whereas 7 started that like hardcore. And then like 8, 9, and 11 at least have like continued that.
But you also get the very visceral feeling of saving the world because you literally watch the world come back as you play it. Like, I saved this country, and now this country exists in the present. I love Dragon Quest VII, as absurdly long as it was at the time.
That is part of why I wanted to go last, because it was a little bit of a toss-up just because of how long it is. I feel like it overstays as well. It's a great game, but you talk about a game that you think is going to end like at 5 different points.
I think they might have been running up the numbers on purpose. I think they were just like, let's see how much we can stretch this out a little bit. But I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
They knew that there would be a long development period, and it would just be easier to build a game sequel into itself and work on the next thing than to try and release 2 games in the same series. That's always been Dragon Quest thing from that point onward, which is why Dragon Quest games are routinely over 100 hours and contain their own sequel.
Yeah.
They
really do. I'm just sitting here thinking about like, oh my God, yes.
I love Dragon Quest. One thing that I love about Dragon Quest VII, I guess it's a spoiler, but also it's beyond the main story, so it has nothing to do with the main story. Like is the Destiny, the jokey, joke about JRPGs, you fight God at the end. In a post-game bonus, you can fight God in Dragon Quest VII, and I literally mean God, like an old white guy in a robe with a beard. Not like some abstraction that's like godlike.
Not like a biblical angel.
He's literally called the Almighty, and you are fighting him. And you have a certain amount of turns to beat him, by the way, if you want to win.
I like that all 3 of us thought that was going to be a hot take, and we're on the same side.
Well, it is a hot take, because Final Fantasy VII's like the biggest JRPG of like all time.
We don't let Graham Stark listen to this episode.
I will say this. Like the Final Fantasy VII remake project, I think is much better.
It has given me a new appreciation of 7. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
Exactly. I'm not ranking Final Fantasy VII remake project.
And the thing is about 7 that does make it a hard decision is that 7 has what 8 has, which is to say really compelling characters that you care deeply about. Whereas 7, it's like you're like, you lose Kiefer at some point, and you're just like, well, who cares?
I cared. I put a lot of nuts into him. Or
have you ever?
Don't say you put a lot of nuts into him.
I forgot if it was nuts or seeds that boosts stats.
It's not nuts.
Okay. This is like the only time.
Listen, I nutted in Kiefer so much, and then he left.
Fair.
Okay, speaking of that, not
Every
really.
gay experience.
I just no. Anyway,
we derailed the podcast.
I was derailing myself because I was going to make a comment about his chin, and then I was like, I was losing it.
It is a chin.
Dragon Quest VIII or Final Fantasy
Wait
VIII?
a minute. There's one more thing about Dragon Quest VII.
All right.
Okay. Did you know I don't remember if it's in the original game, but it is in the 3DS remake. If you level Kiefer up to the maximum level, he becomes functionally invincible.
I did not know
that. Yeah.
There's a YouTube user / Twitch streamer out there who's fantastic. She's an Irish lady called Grania. She has a channel called Grania Quest. She's the person who famously preserved all of the DLC of the 3DS.
Oh, yeah.
Which involved having to play it, and so that, basically playing it in a weird way to collect all of the DLC. And part of that had to do with getting Kiefer to level 99 in order to kind of solo it, like, to a certain point. Anyway, it's all very complicated, but yeah, it's one of the things that I learned about that game is that Kiefer is invincible if you grind enough.
Okay, the 8s. I think I know what Russ is picking.
I'm going to go last again.
Sure.
Chris? I mean, it's an easy Dragon Quest VIII for me. Not easy because Final Fantasy VIII is bad. I think Final Fantasy VIII is better than Final Fantasy VII. I think Final Fantasy II is better than Final Fantasy VII, and I think 8 is around... I would rather play 2 than 8 right now because I've recently beaten 8. But yeah, that's so. I'm not saying that I don't have a hot take about Final Fantasy VIII that's positive.
Absolutely.
But Dragon Quest VIII was. I also just recently beat that one on my stream like last month. Is just an incredible experience. Just one of my top, I'd say 10.
I agree. Dragon Quest VIII for me, it's the Final Fantasy VII of Dragon Quests.
Essentially, yeah.
Russ?
Dragon Quest VIII.
Wow. Yeah, welcome to the party.
I love Final Fantasy VIII, as
I know you do.
But this is kind of an Earthbound thing.
I didn't think we were going to agree as much as we have.
Yeah, I know. I had such a fun summer after college playing Dragon Quest VIII. It was such a good... It's just such a good time. Just such a good summer in my life.
It is such a good game.
And yeah, and it's just all sprawling and you run all over the world and it's just...
And talk about characters that you like.
Characters that you like. And it was, it still is beautiful. It's a beautiful game.
And it has a horse sidekick. So
it does. You can marry the horse.
You can.
Now, here's the thing. That I will say about Final Fantasy VIII, it has by far a much better ending. Dragon Quest VIII ends twice.
Yeah.
So, and you have to beat it once to beat it the second time and get the exact same ending that's just slightly changed. And that to me is very annoying.
Yeah.
That you have to, go through the game, beat the final boss, you get your ending. It's a good ending. It's very, very good. I really, really enjoyed it. Then you go back through, a dungeon opens up, and then you go to that dungeon. Again, this is like what all Dragon Quests do now, including 7. You go through that dungeon, you beat a special boss, and the special boss teaches you about your main character's origins that you didn't get in the main story. Now that you have that knowledge, you go back and beat the original final boss you've already beaten.
Yeah.
It's much easier this time.
It is an odd system.
Then you get the exact same ending, but now like 2 or 3 things have changed, and it's not as good. Even though it's better, it's not as good.
Yeah.
So Final Fantasy VIII ends with like one of the best CG sequences of all of the PlayStation 1 era. I'd say equal to 9, but maybe even better. And you also get Eyes on Me, which is holy shit, that song. Yeah. Sorry if we're not allowed to cuss on this. I had to cuss for Eyes on Me. Nice.
I have so much censoring to do now.
Yeah. But yeah, and it's like it wraps up this like legitimately confusing story in a way that's good. Even if you didn't quite get all the points, you're just like, this is good. I like this, how this ends. So I will say Final Fantasy VIII is very close, but it can't beat Dragon Quest VIII to me as an experience.
I agree.
And to round us out, Final Fantasy IX, Dragon Quest IX. I think I know where this one's going to go for the table as well. Russ?
Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah, I gotta give it to Final Fantasy IX.
Final Fantasy IX. To be fair, I haven't played Dragon Quest IX, but even if I had, I have a hard time imagining. Final Fantasy IX was basically Final Fantasy coming back and going, no, really, we can do one last good one.
So, and it's funny too, because it's like Final Fantasy, like, again, to re-put this into context, because I talked about how early Dragon Quest 1 was versus Final Fantasy 1. Dragon Quest 9 is like 10 years after Final Fantasy 9. And in fact, Final Fantasy 9's release was delayed because of Dragon Quest 7. Because Dragon Quest 7 was predicted to sell so well that Square did not want to compete with Enix on this. And they also had to like consider the national economy and the waves that Dragon Quest 7 was going to make. And so they pushed back Final Fantasy 7 by several months. Final Fantasy 9 by several months to not compete with Dragon Quest 7. So that's just to let y'all know where we are on the timeline. We're comparing a DS game from 10 years after to the PlayStation 1 game that was almost destroyed by Dragon Quest 9 if it weren't for somebody's business savvy. 7, thank you.
No, Final Fantasy IX is a great time. They filled it with so much nostalgia and callbacks to previous games that even if it couldn't stand on its own two legs, which it very much can, it just fills you with the warm fuzzies of all the adventures you had gone on before.
See, my argument about it is that it kind of separates from the nostalgia in a way that it feels so new, even though it's kind of recognizable. Like, for instance, if you look at the character Vivi and then go back and look at a black mage, you're like, that's Vivi. You know, it's like it's reverse nostalgia almost. Mm-hmm. It's like playing an old Final Fantasy. Yeah. Now you're recharacterizing a black mage to be like Vivi, whereas you may have imagined him different before. So, that's...
Well, I grew up reading 8-bit theater, so they applied a lot of personality to those characters before Vivi came along.
You remember Sprite Comics, kid?
I very much do. I grew up on Sprite Comic. Well, I grew up. I was in college. I
was 20-something when those started coming out.
I started reading those in college.
We're the same age.
If anybody hasn't read Kid Rad, that is the one Sprite comic that is still worth your time. Go track it down.
I say don't let that era die.
Kid Rad was all original sprites.
Have you tried to read any of the 8-bit theater, any of that early 2000s crap, like since we all kind of developed brains and hearts?
I started trying to reread 8-bit theater probably about 5-6 years ago. I read a couple comics and I was like, man, this is dumb.
Yeah, I was just...
Are they like racist or something?
No, they're just dumb.
They're cruel. They're very, very cruel. It's just like the black mage character. The joke is that he likes to just murder innocent children for no reason.
Yeah, and the fighter is dumb, and the monk is dumb.
Yeah.
Those are the jokes. The thief steals a lot.
And, it just... I mean, I abandoned it at the time.
I wrote it all the way to the end, baby.
Nah.
The hand-drawn finale that went on forever. It's you scroll forever to read the last page of that comic, and it's all hand drawn as opposed to sprites. I remember.
Yeah, I just anyway, Sprite Comics kids.
I remember Bob and George.
They were like the podcast of the time.
I did a Sprite comic at one point. It was not successful.
I made fun of one. I made fun of the concept with my own thing, but it was just in jokes of me and my friends. So it wasn't anything that was publicly, consumable.
Russ, you haven't talked about Final Fantasy IX. Give me a little something.
I like it.
Okay, that's it. Thank you, guys.
Part of this, too, is that Dragon Quest IX was a real disappointment for me.
I haven't... It's the one I haven't played, but I'm not looking forward to it.
8, which, took precedence over Final Fantasy 8 for me just now. And then they did 9, and it was on the DS, and it was just kind of ugly.
I wish it was on something else.
Yeah, and it did, and I don't even remember at the point. It did some stupid, online connecting with other players thing, and I never liked any game that did that. I don't like people. That's why I'm playing these games, okay? I don't want to interact with other people.
Right.
and that obnoxious fairy. I really actually don't like 9 very much, and do like, I just keep saying 9, but Dragon Quest 9, and I do like Final Fantasy 9 a lot. So
we all agreed more than I thought we would,
and we picked more Dragon Quests, I feel.
Yeah, I was just gonna pop in and say, because I didn't really say earlier, that I love Dragon Quest 9. However, it is the Dragon Quest 9 that is crazy go nuts. Is bonkers in its story, presentation, characters. The puns are off the rails in it.
Yeah.
So, and it's just like, it really feels like the least like a mainline Dragon Quest game, in that it never really takes itself at all seriously for any amount of time.
Yeah.
And it's so open-ended and all this other stuff. It really feels like one of the many spin-off games that are also great, but when you play the spin-off games, you're kind of like, I'm just playing in a new playhouse that's painted with Dragon Quest paint. It's like, I'm gonna see a slime. I'm gonna
not coming off of 8, which felt like a real epic journey,
right?
And then you're doing 9,
and again, it's like 10 years later. It's it's all we got for so long before 7, because it was another 10 years before 7 came out, but not 7, I'm sorry, 11. So many years
and now
before
we're sitting here waiting for 12.
Yeah, it's been 7 years now since 7 came out, or 11 came out, and now we're waiting on.
I can't believe they never released 10
We started working on Home. We were working on Home on the RNG when 11 came out. Have we been doing this that long?
I guess.
I haven't.
Oh my God. I mean, I turn 42 tomorrow, but this makes me feel old. Anyway, that was just our quick little game and discussion. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next time.
The milkman, the paperboy, evening TV. You miss your old familiar friends, waiting just around the bend. Everywhere you look, everywhere it's hot.
Russ is doing his standard pre-podcast
What's
serenade.
the Family Matters one?
Oh God!
It's-
No! Come on!
It's a rare condition
This day and age. Read any good news on the newspaper page. Love and tradition of the grand design, some people say, is even harder to find. But then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls.
Yeah, I think okay, yeah.
'Cause all I see is a tower of dreams, a real love bursting out of every seam.
As days go by, it's the greater love of the family. Good.
Dear
I'm
God.
glad. I couldn't get the first part of it, and then once I got it,
I went to mute them, and then I realized maybe somebody will enjoy this. It just won't be me.
Came back to me.
Yeah, you could always just cut it.
Oh no! I'll put it at the end as a blooper like I normally do.
Cut it like the youngest child of any given family member season.
Yeah, they were just. I listened to a podcast where they interviewed the girl that played Judy Winslow.
Oh, nice.
We are fully back to the
she
Family
was
Matters podcast.
And she talked about. I mean, she's over it now, but she talked about how she filmed the last episode. I think it was the season 3 finale. She filmed the last episode she was in, and all the other cast they all knew before her, and they were all coming up to her and saying, "You did such a good job. We just love working with you. You're going to do such great things." And she was like, "Thank you." Okay. And then right after, her and her parents went to see her agent, and they're like, "Yeah, you've been fired.
Oh.
There's not a role on this show for you anymore." Because of Steve Urkel.
Again, doing a Family Matters podcast. You two can do that. Yeah. There's nothing stopping you.
Is there already an episode-by-episode Family Matters thing?
Not that I know of episode by episode.
There's one for every other show.
Yeah. I just know my Gayest Episode Ever podcast has covered 6 Family Matters episodes. Not that there was ever anything gay in Family Matters.
No.
But they've done 3 Halloween episodes. They did a Myrtle Urkel episode. They did the Stefan Urkel first appearance.
Oh my God.
gay icon Stefan Urkel.
Well, he is kind of gay. Like he acts like he's very like into his looks and his clothes.
I am trapped in a podcast. Please send help.
Yeah. You've never seen Family Matters?
I must have seen an episode or two, I'm sure.
Perfect Strangers? You've seen Perfect Strangers?
An episode or two.
Oh my God. Such good shows.
Hey, everybody.
Did you know?
Welcome to a little side quest.
The season 5 premiere of Perfect Strangers.
There's no stopping
the little girl from Curly Sue was in it. They were going to introduce a little kid character that lived in the building. But then they were like, oh, nobody wants that. And Balky is already basically a child. So she's in one episode in the opening credits.
In the opening credits.
And then she, like, it just disappears after that. But she's Curly Sue, so I guess she was okay.
Hey, everybody.
And did you know?
No.